Imaging camera. Why would we want a thermal imaging camera inside of a ghost hunt? Let's see who's paying attention. Come on, Maya. I know you got the answer. Go ahead. She's like, nope, I'm not talking. Nobody?
Well, you can't see them in real life.
Okay, so how can we see them with this?
Are they warm?
We are warm. So ghosts must be
Cold.
cold. We're looking for cold spots. See how I led you to that? Don't overthink it. You guys got this. So have some fun with this. So thermal. You should be able to see me in there. Red, orange, and yellow guy. Sorry, fellas, but this is going to work out in my favor. That means I'm the hottest thing inside the frame right now. There's only 2 of you, and I'm probably quicker, even with the backpack. So with that said, we're looking for the cold spots. So the cold spots are going to be blue and black. So I want them to either take shape or to start moving on their own. That's what we're looking for. So when I say take shape, I want a head, shoulders, moving arms, and legs. That's what we've caught with this guy in the past. Hopefully we capture it again. I will tell you that because this camera is used, this is a normal staple for me to bring out, even if there's just 2 people. I get about, we'll just say 4 to 5 pieces like per year that I will put my stamp of approval on that we had a ghost walking towards us. However, I'm looking for 15+ degree temperature drops. There's a crosshairs in the middle. So Tim, who's going to be using this, is going to be moving that. Did I get the name right?
Yes.
Okay, so he's like, yeah, oh yeah, I got all over this. So there's a center crosshair, so he can measure anything he wants to. It's about 73 degrees out here for his ambient, so I'm going to be looking for 15+ degree temperature drops. In the event you see something blue or cold, obviously move the camera so that center crosshair falls on your blue or black area so we can measure it. So I actually had to, unfortunately, downgrade because my last one broke. I had this really great upgrade where there's a blue dot that did it for us, but now we have to do it manually by moving it around. So that is your start and stop button. I'm going to history on this one. I'll get you to unmute. You almost have the same cue as the cameras. Okay. So, wow, that's a good old skunk. So you can hit your start button if you want to as well. All right, so welcome to a parking lot, everybody. I told you I'd take you to weird spots around town. This place used to be something. For all you communication device people, again, Ouija board, digital word list, and spirit boxes. This is where I start withholding information on purpose, so you guys aren't looking for certain things. I will not be giving you questions here like what color was George Washington's white horse, like what we did with the big red barn, so you guys have that kind of train of thought. So kind of keep in mind with, of course, I give the smallest camera to the tallest guy. We got people walking by too, so normally I just say go down to the belly shot when we have people walking by, especially tall guys like him. Who brought this guy? Oh yeah, it was his idea. That's right. He brought the rest of you. So this space used to be relevant to the history of Charleston, which is exactly why we're here. So some of this history, based on the age group that we have, I may breeze through some of it so you guys can actually get to work. I know history can be long, and I don't want these guys to feel like they're not on vacation and at school. So let's kind of get to it. This place used to be the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion. The mansion used to sit in the front of the space facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant and came all the way across. We are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. That's the layout of the land. So who the hell were these people? Charles and Eliza had a son named Charles, and they had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 Chucks, in case nobody was paying attention. That's exactly why we look for secondary clues, so I know which Charles is here, and that way we know how to address him appropriately. Hopefully you guys are seeing the point on that. The son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. Big deal for us, but I hate politics more than all of you combined. So we're going to move on. If I do not give those gentlemen that recognition, they will do it for me in a spirit box in a very nasty manner, and you guys don't need to hear their tone of voice when they do that. So I usually give them that recognition, and we move on to Eliza. She has a much better story anyway. Eliza married Charles at a young age according to today's standards. If you're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, do not expect numbers from the colonial days that she came from, like 12 and 14, when young ladies got married. Think of today's standards. Reason why? The husband was over double her age when they married. I'm giving you guys some clues of what to look for if you guys haven't picked up on that. Now, she married him because her father was over in England, where they're from. The father thinks he's dying, trying to bring all of his kids home one last time. Eliza didn't believe that he was dying, so she stayed put right here and got married. It's 1744. You don't get married in that year to get a green card. We're not a country yet, so it wasn't a thing. She married him out of true love. This is a true love story, believe it or not. There is nothing horrific about this location, which is part of the reason why we start off our night here. Now, try to be respectful when we do separate, just so you know, because all activity will stop if you are not respectful to Miss Eliza. She's a prominent English woman. Back to Eliza. She was correct. Dad did not die right away, and instead he starts sending her gifts from England to where you're standing. One of those gifts happens to be the plant seeds of indigo. That's a plant that makes blue dye, that makes your blue jeans blue. Only one person is wearing it here tonight, just so you guys know. Good job. Way to give me the example. But when she got her seeds, she didn't know what to do with it because it's not always hot here. She had to learn how to keep it going. So she learned it from the slaves, learned how to make the dye, moved it to a cash crop, got a hold of her dad overseas and told him that the rice plantations are going downhill, and we now have an international businesswoman during colonial times. It's something absolutely unheard of. That's the boring business stuff of Eliza. Let's get into the weird shit, because that's why you guys are all here. So, with all the spirit boxes, I'm going to give you guys a set of focus questions. You can either say these things out loud or just focus on them. There's no right or wrong way to do this. So we are going to work with, let's kind of start off things nice and simple. So, Kinzie, and, no, Kinley. Thank you.
Sorry, Lily 3.
Lily 3, get back in line. So, Kinley and ERIKA, you guys are going to have the same set of questions simply because Eliza that I just told you about is the second wife named Eliza from Charles back to back. You're going to be looking for Eliza's full initials. They both have the same set of initials. ELP. Let me know if you see those letters in that order.
It's not showing me like
Turn the sensitivity down. That's why. Okay. Got your sensitivity back up. So you're going to be looking for the maiden name because the first wife named Eliza also had a maiden name that started with the letter L. I'm not going to tell you what either one of those are. So hopefully you're going to be able to find out by using the device that you're using. So Tony, you're going to be up next. Your spirit box likes to give us 1 to 2 syllables at a time. The mansion's not here anymore. In fact, there's a bunch of SUVs and trucks where it used to sit. You can ask Eliza what happened to it. If you get the what, you will often get the when. That means the date. 2 or 3 numbers out of the date. So very specific numbers. The 2 red spirit boxes. So that would be Miss Berlin and Maya. You guys are going to have the same set of questions as well, based on the type of spirit boxes that you have. Your spirit boxes, you can ask her about her death. So that's where things really open up for the type of spirit box that you have. The 4 major things that we get answers to. How did you die? How old were you when you died? Where are you buried? Which president was a pallbearer at your funeral? Do you know what a pallbearer is, Berlin?
Nope.
Okay, so a funeral. The people that carry the coffin to the grave, they're called pallbearers. Okay, so a president did that for Miss Eliza. So very important lady. So I think I've got everybody covered on all of the questionnaires, so that's good. We are going to spread out. We're going to stay away from the vehicles as much as possible, especially those of you with cameras. Please do not go in between vehicles. People get really weirded out when we're here. I'll do 1 or 2 round robins with everybody to kind of see what's going on with your devices, take a few notes, and then I'll round us up back here and give you all of the answers. Let's see, who I need to keep behind. So the 2 lilies, I need to kind of show you a little bit more about that EMF. Have you had any numbers out of that? Yeah. What numbers did you get?
2.6.
Okay, so you have a 2.6. Now you're not going to give me anything below that, so you're going to keep it going up. Lily number 2, did you get anything out of yours? You also had a 2.6. Okay, that's good. So that's good to know. All right, guys, let's spread out. So I'm going to keep Kinley behind now, so I can show her how to operate that thing a little bit further. Again, everybody spread out. Tony, go ahead and get unmuted. Let's get to work, everybody.
Wait, so what was the question?
I knew you were going to ask that. So you're going to be asking.
How did you die?
Yep.
When did you? What president was one of the pallbearers at your funeral?
How old were you when you died?
I was just saying, where were you buried?
Yeah, where are you buried?
Where are you buried?
How did you?
No.
How did you die? Wait.
Okay.
Not here.
Who was the pallbearer at your wedding? Or at your funeral? Okay. Who carried your coffin at your wedding?
Oh.
Okay. Or at your funeral?
Your device is the only one that really needs any kind of like manual operation.
How did you die?
How did you die?
And how old were you when
How
you
old were
died?
you when you died?
Anytime you
So I
get a
just say it
full
out
row,
loud.
Yeah, go for it.
pointing, you're going to reset this guy. So just take a quick look, make sure it's not getting
How did you
So
die?
you're going to take this green dial, go left, and then go back right, and point at the corner. Okay, so when you point at the corner, you're going to get a nice fresh start. You should only have the left and right light. In between the spaces, you may have to turn down the sensor. There's a dial on the very top. So turn it to the left. On a space like this with electricity, you shouldn't have anything. Technically, you should not be getting any light.
So.
How's your letters?
Scary stuff.
Yeah.
This location,
Boring. You look so
it's not married anywhere near.
So how do you know that she keeps it?
So I keep getting all of these clues right up there.
You look so happy.
Yeah, I'm just getting temperatures. Everything seems normal so far.
You should go in that corner.
Is it-
I had
is
like
it
a
going-
50 in that corner.
Oh.
Well, both of our spikes are 14, 17.
Number 3, number 11, 27.
No. So they keep getting temperature changes right there.
The 56.
What does yours do? Oh, like the LED light thing.
I'm trying to put that one. 6.2. 22. I got the dumpster. You're a 1.9.
Out of 10?
No, out of like big. Whoa, no. She's a 10 out of 10.
Most of it won't stick if you're really good at this. So but every once in a while, about 40 to 50% of the time, something's going to stick to somebody trying to tell us something.
Okay.
That's kind of how this goes. But yeah, am I focused on one person, one family at this location? Not necessarily. We've had things pop up in this location. There's nothing where I'm going to say, like, that's what's working the location. Yeah, nothing else. I never look at it. Never. I'm not there. Right. I find this very well. Anyway, they're teaching me it's about history. It's about interpretation.
So where is your...
So that's part of the reason why I do this, because none of us have answers. So but it's all scientific.
Are you understanding any of these words?
I question a lot of different things. A lot of people say those kids are bullshit. They have valid proof that shows those things get stuck on vacation. You know, why would Eliza only come here? Why wouldn't she go up to her parents? Why wouldn't she go, you know, to someone else that she frequents all the time, or a friend's house, or so forth and so on? This is just a location.
I did see a shooting star while we were standing over that way.
Do I have hopes?
Wait, oh my God, there's an NCFC sticker on that SUV.
Get some real answers.
So, oh my God, I parked there. Oh, this is.
Like, that's why I look at as much as I can as far as the communication.
So there's an NCFC sticker on that car. Like, oh my God.
The questions that you're asking, they might not come up here totally much later. So you never know. Even so, you're looking at souls.
What happened to your home?
43569. Time numbers. 43569.
What numbers did you get?
32.
47.
I don't know. I got no numbers and now. What? I know. I had no numbers this entire time, and then I got a bunch of them. What did I say it was? I need your help, or I want your help?
Did you have a garden here?
I
Back?
just got construction.
I just have accessibility and I made it free.
That's the garden in the back.
And I guess your home's getting 3-3 now. I just got. So I get not getting too many numbers.
Every year I have the location.
How's your letter game?
Boring.
Oh, there's an L. You got ELP.
What did you grow in your garden?
You're asking the same question the whole time. I've heard everything. Eliza, how did you die?
I almost say I have to do this.
Fireworks. Your guys had died long ago.
Nope.
But not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Why?
There's actually another ghost that I can bring up that's in this whole area that we're in right now because it was so recent. It was so recent.
I'm just not understanding any of the words.
Yeah,
It's so fast. What happened to your home?
Good job, right? Tony, have you heard anything?
I haven't made out any words.
Okay.
But at first, when I started walking this way, I heard the number 27.
Okay.
And then a little bit after that, I heard 3 and 11.
Doesn't sound like you have enough volume coming through, so I'm going to boost that thing up for you a little bit.
Okay.
So number 11 is part of the date of what happened to the mansion. And number 27 is actually Eliza's birthday, December 27th. So hopefully the word December shows up somewhere. There we go. That's a little bit better. We want it to not be constant like that. We want breaks.
Yeah.
So you got the point.
Cool.
And I like the fact that you're hanging around with somebody with a camera.
Yeah.
Because that thing doesn't record. So if you miss something, it's going to be on the audio from his camera.
Cool.
I got blood.
What happened to your home?
Tim, have you seen anything? Nothing out of the
No,
ordinary?
nothing that's plus or minus 15.
Okay, now between you and Brittany, correct? That name's right? Okay, I just want to make sure I got the between your two cameras. I don't always follow up with you two in real time because your screens are so small. I send these videos to YouTube so I can watch them on a large computer screen. You guys are going to be able to watch them on your TV. So if I'm following up with the communication devices a little bit more, videography is not always the most exciting job out here, but I also didn't want to bore the kids. You guys got the point, right? But feel free to intermingle your devices among the 8 people that you guys came with. I mean, you're a large party. Have fun with this. So that's the whole point. How's our word list coming?
Spirits.
I look at that as drinks. We're still near the bar.
Yeah.
I have one more thing. When I said
What
very,
happened
very
to your
construction came up. That was my other thing that I had.
Gotcha. All right, we'll get time for the record. I'm pretty excited about this. Let's not cry on and thank me too much. Let's bring everybody to the back.
See, that's okay, but
All right. Actually, have we gotten any numbers? What do we get?
There was like a 50 over there, but I think I was when her sister was 69, like the 3.3.
All right, Tony, let's get you back on mute so I can cover the answers to what's going on here. So, any other words besides spirits?
English.
We're talking about a one from England. So, English exchange. I like it. So I'm excited about the name Tommy that showed up and the phrase fractured hip, the number 27 and the number 11 that showed up. By the way, if you have a camera, give your hands a break, hit the stop buttons. That way you guys don't have to look. Keep it nice and low if you don't mind. Those of you with cameras, by the way, I do want you guys to try to, perfect. So nice and low. When that group over there leaves, we're going to actually move down a little bit so I'm not near this loud air conditioner. So kind of keep that in mind. Talk to me. What did we hear along the way?
nothing.
Nothing? Because you were talking yourself, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured
But
as much.
I was listening. I heard the song Believer come up.
Okay, so you have the word believer. Mom, she's talking about skeptics over there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Tony, what do you got? You hear anything?
I didn't hear anything.
Okay.
There's music coming out, and I was asking, are you singing? Can you tell me a story? And then, like, more music was playing.
I can kind of see where you're going with that, but I want words.
Yeah,
So-
it wasn't, I couldn't clearly make out a word.
Understood. Maya, what do you got?
I got It Can Be Dangerous.
Okay.
And then right before we turned left down this alley, I got left.
We get a lot of directional, like turn here kind of stuff when we're kind of entering in this area. So, and this is the ghost that gives us the clue we're in purple, by the way. What are the last 2 or 3 terms that you have on your list?
Confident, motivate, heat.
Where did you get heat? Was that closer back there?
It was as we were walking, and then it ended here.
Okay, got it. All right, so let's get you back on mute, Tony, as we kind of cover the history here. Oops. Oh my God. Kinley. Yes. Sorry, the Z and the L are throwing me off. Did you have anything that showed up on there?
No.
Nothing that you can make out?
Yeah.
Okay. Again, that device doesn't always give us something productive, so we kind of always have to seek it out. So welcome to Philadelphia Alley. Remember, we're going to be in here, I'm going to stir things up, and we're going to get the hell out of Dodge. So here's how this goes. They're all telling the same story. I'm just going to give you a few extra details because you're ghost hunting. Not the cheesy campfire marshmallow ghost tours on the sides of us, right? So here's how it goes. We're all telling the same deal. A doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. For those of you listening to Spirit Boxes right now, if you hear the song Brown Eyed Girl, it's not coincidence. We get it here all the time because it's part of his name. So kind of keep that in mind. Now, yes.
How does that song go?
Brown Eyed Girl?
Yeah.
Brown Eyed Girl.
Oh, okay. I was just making sure.
Who brought this kid?
I thought that was
Yours? Yeah.
I couldn't find anywhere to hide.
Anyway, Dr. Ladd moves here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a lot of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all of this cash that she just got. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. So he tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. He comes to Charleston from Rhode Island to prove that he's not after Amanda's money. So on his way into town, he actually had a coachman, kind of like an Uber. And that coachman set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a very good start to his stay here. So somebody walking by, his name was Ralph Isaacs. I'm going to stop there. Ralph Isaacs has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Rhode Island, Ralph Isaacs. What'd you get?
A rat.
Oh, that's Remy.
Oh, he's good?
Yeah, he's fine.
Okay.
He works here.
His name's Remy from like Ratatouille.
Why do you think I named him that? So now you're not afraid of him. See how that works?
Who's the rat?
So he's gonna make us dinner.
Well, I said it so that we know when we see something on here, we know it's him.
Yeah,
That way
got
it's
it.
not.
It was all audio for you?
Sure.
Like you're just giving us markers?
Yep.
Got it.
There you go.
So, back to Ralph Isaacs. The reason why I have Kinley's device, no. Am I getting it right? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. This is gonna hurt me. She's like hiding out. The reason why I bought Kinley's device is because we were getting the letters RI all the time on the Red Spear boxes. I wanted that to verify. So those are the letters you're looking for in that order of RI. So usually when I bring up Ralph's name is when we usually get it. But anyway, back to Ralph. He tells Doc, I know this guy, the coachman. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me to 59 Church Street. I have friends that live there, and you can rent a room from them and be safe. Doc took him up on the offer, and the two gentlemen became friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point. He's not after Amanda's money. So yeah, that thing's pretty crazy. So Amanda gets wind of this because Doc's making his own cash, and she's moving down so they could be married. Dr. Ladd then became known as the Whistling Doctor. This is another reason why I hate this location, because I hate cliches. Every haunted city you will ever visit in the future always has a haunted ghost. That's kind of how this goes. But ours just happens to be a doctor, and there is some legitimacy to this. We're going to talk about it. Moving on. The reason why we're in Jeweler's Alley, because that's what this was called back then. Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. He gets better seats just because he makes more money. So, on the way home from seeing Richard III, they are arguing over the actress they just saw. Dr. Ladd thought she was great. Ralph didn't. Then he starts insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island. And it got really ugly, and they went their separate ways. Ralph has friends around town and goes to the newspaper. He puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of stuff. Doc saw that ad and rebutted with, let's go to Jeweler's Alley. Somebody's gonna die. I'm tired of this. So they came down here. By the way, keep in mind, this whole argument started over an actress, all pretty dumb. They came down, back to back. They took their 10 paces away from each other. They turned. The doctor pointed his gun in the air and shot. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just wanted the courage to show up to the fight. But Ralph has his one bullet still, and he puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Proved his point. He's still pissed off at the doc. And he didn't want to kill him either, but he fell to the ground. His friends picked him up and took him home to 59 Church Street, where he died 10 days later, November 2nd of 1786, after refusing medical treatment. I'm going to point out two things. First off, it's 1786. Gunshot wounds back then, a lot different than what they are now. Secondly, he is a doctor. He probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself. But obviously he failed because he died. Now, every one of these tours that's down here is telling their guests to listen for the whistles. We have 3 cameras running plus my voice recorder. If we're going to capture a disembodied whistle, more than likely it's going to come up on one of those 4 devices. Not to mention, we have caught the whistling parts of songs on your spirit boxes and the word doctor from a commercial immediately after. Doctor, we get it all the time. So again, can't tell you how many times that's actually occurred. And this guy actually likes to follow me around. He's going to show up again at our last location. So I like to bleed over to the next stop, and then at our last location, he shows up again. And you're going to see some of those clues like you and I were talking about, Erica, of like how we know who's actually there. So again, I don't look for him there. He just likes to poke his head in. This guy's story is being told like for the past 50 years. I'm the only one that talks back to him, and he can communicate with us as well, obviously with all the devices that you're using. So, if you're going to try this on your own and walk all the way through this alley, this is your guys' first day here, and you're going to use the voice recorders from your phones, because I can't take you all the way to the end. I'm going to explain I've been kicked out of here. That's actually the fun part of the story, by the way. Say Tim gets, he got me. But anyway, so just remember, every local knows this story. Even during the daytime, anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen Street, we all throw a whistle down this alley. We all do it. Just kind of keep that in mind. So let's talk about how I actually got thrown out, because I always throw a whistle down this alley whenever I pass it, especially since I got booted out of here. Tony's like, wants to get the story now too. Basically, between us and Cumberland Street, there used to be a wall. The reason why is because this used to be called Cow Alley. This is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. They had to keep them penned in. So cows, chickens, and goats were down here. So what does that mean for you guys and why I got kicked out? I used to take my group all the way to the end to show off the sun-dried bricks that are down there from slave children. And when I say showing it off, it was a history piece. There was nothing paranormal about it. Because again, you guys know how I feel about cemeteries and headstones. That kid's not there staring at that brick with his handprint in it. Because that's what's actually down there. It's a full handprint from a slave kid. I took my group down there November 26th of 2020. We're going to let this group pass through. You're good, you're good. took them down there, and all 10 of them, same size as you guys, was huddled around that brick waiting for something to happen. I know nothing's going to happen because that kid's not there. Well, I'm also trying to be respectful because we're outside the kitchen window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. The new owner of that mansion came out screaming. My daughter, who was probably around your guys' age at the time, thought it was hysterical because her father was getting yelled at. So we just moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving simply because I used to work for Walmart for over 10 years in upper management, and you all like to fight over towels on Thanksgiving and have scarred me for life. So I don't work on Thanksgiving anymore. And the next day was the 28th. I called my partner that I had at the time. I told him what happened with the neighbor. He laughed at me just like my daughter did and said, dude, you're only allowed to go down halfway, which is about where that tour group is right now. Simply because it's residential after that. So you got to reroute your group. So I told my group that night, I don't believe in the next story because I'm into vampires, not pirates. Obviously, we're talking about pirates next, in case you didn't pick up on that. I also didn't tell them which pirates we were going to be discussing. So before we left, somebody with a spirit box heard the name Anne. I didn't tell them it was going to be a female pirate, Anne Bonnie, that we were going to be looking for. So it's kind of like, okay, maybe we'll get something. I could take them around the corner, told them what I knew about pirates in Charleston. Somebody else heard the number 300 coming out of their spirit box. I didn't know what it meant. I wrote it down. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonnie's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300th anniversary of her pirate trial. Let's let this very large group pass through, and we'll wrap this location up.
Where are you going? Yeah, you're so right.
My bad.
I'm not even joking.
But it's cool. You know.
Why is this story so memorable? I mean, a couple of guys missed each other and one she's
All the other things that were down here, even was a
How your letters rolling in? How your letters?
Down 1780s. Men whistled back then when they were jovial people. So again, it is something that we can see to prove that it actually occurred. It's really the only reason why. Like, there's plenty of other.
You're Kelly. I think your group went that
Yeah,
way.
your group's up there. You're fine.
Sorry.
Again, the jumpy one over there.
I drink a lot of
Give her the
coffee.
most expensive camera, everybody, just so everybody knows. So since we've been here, have we heard anything crazy on our spirit boxes? Seen anything? What do we got going on? Before we go talking about some radar pirates. Of course, now that we finally got a full view of the whole
She got some
alleyway.
letters.
What do you got?
I got WTF on mine.
WTF. I'm pretty sure 1700s ghosts don't know our acronyms that we have today.
Yeah. I got 1300, but that's
1300. I like the number 13 out of that, just because, again, your spirit box is slowed down. Might pick up a word or two before. You always have to look for those key words. Belen, you got anything?
what?
Did you?
I was listening like I was supposed to.
Did you get anything?
No.
Okay. And what are our last 3 or 4 terms since you've been here?
Fee, strategic, sentiment, stencil. Christopher and Karen were on there for a while. Anything?
No, not to me it doesn't. Names and numbers usually don't lie though, so any name that pops up, I definitely dive into it because we are near a cemetery. Which, by the way, before we leave this space, let's move down a little bit. I want to show you this gate.
No dots. Well, it's hard to look at it because you said
This
that.
one, it's intermixed in here, so if you really like put your nose and do that, it's like intertwined. So, I smell all the time because this is normally where I stand. And the door is right here, so I'm trying not to get on that. But it's all along the fence, and we also have an anish tree here. So like, kind of like what they make like for shadow. So that's, yeah, it is gorgeous. It is one of my favorite spots. By the way. The gate. I also like to point out this gate specifically because it told you the history of this location, of it being Cow Alley, where there's a wall right about where that gate was standing. So if there's a loser down there, this was the shortcut to get to the cemetery on the other side of this wall. Otherwise, they have to go all the way down the Green Street and then double back with a dead body, which is obviously very heavy, before they can go celebrate the winter with a plank. The wrought iron that you see on this gate actually wasn't here. It was probably put here in the early 1900s, but you can see that the archway above it is actually part of the original wall. So I think I was starting to get into like there are plenty of other duels that are alleged that occurred down here, including from other presidents and vice presidents. However, those kind of things are normally hidden out of their history. I I was just walking through here. Once I walked somebody home, I think I was telling you young ladies, I walked somebody back to their Airbnb, and I cut through the alley because I wanted to look for some of the bullet holes. Of course, it's like midnight. I don't give a shit. There's nobody else down here. So I'm taking pictures of bricks that actually look like they're holes going in at a bullet angle. So again, if you walk through this alley, you can find them. You just got to dig for it. Do we know where the bullets came from specifically? We don't. So that's part of the reason why this is such a fascinating story with this particular location, is because we can prove that this duel actually occurred. So Dr. Ladd was only 22 years old when he passed away, by the way. So again, if anybody hears the number 22, that will pop up from time to time. Are we ready to learn about some crazy pirates? Maya, did you get anything else? Okay. Well, you guys see what I'm going to do.
How did he have to be really like a doctor back then? Because
I know, it doesn't seem like he was very old, does it?
yeah,
Who knows? He probably started his apprenticeship when he was probably like 15 or 16 years old. You have to remember the times. He didn't have the schooling that he had now. So he probably showed some promise when he was in what we would call elementary school. He probably advanced him very quickly just because of his knowledge and the way he was able to obtain things. But yeah, he probably started underneath another doctor when he was probably 15 or 16 just learning. He wasn't allowed to do anything, just obviously apprenticing. So yeah, that's pretty young. You're absolutely right. Good call. All right, rated R pirates. Let's go. Nobody got my dad joke, by the way. I said it 3 times. Now I have to advance it. So if the letter R is not a pirate's favorite letter, what is it?
the C.
It must be the C. Thank you. Oh, nice job. Good job, Maya. One night somebody said it must be I. I'm like, no. It's not.
I got 77 to 81.
Sky, but in the next few days, I think the full moon's on the 23rd. It'll fall just to the left of it, and if we have a clear sky, like, it's a great shot.
How old is that church? Do you know?
I would say late 1600s. When we're alive, you might find it interesting. This is no building can be taller than that church downtown.
I think it likes you.
Alright, anything heard?
I got Wendy favorite beautiful, like one after another.
Any favorite beautiful?
And Mr. Brightside. And Mr. Brightside started playing, and then I got John. Was another name that came up.
Berlin, did you get anything? She's not listening. Tony, did you get anything out of yours?
I don't know. Just now it sounded like it said die.
Yeah, I heard that, like die or dyers or something like that.
Did you get anything?
Just like the word rap. So that's it. Like, yeah. And
Oh, she's right next to you. Last couple of words, Erica.
Bear, like the animal,
Okay.
both, and wild, like
Yeah.
a long
A lot of
one.
nothing. Interesting. So ladies with the EMF meters, I get excited about 2.5s in this location. We don't normally see a whole lot of anything, so actually you should be 3 flat zeros, which is the norm. So if you get a 2.5, I'm stoked. Just keep in mind that there are parking meters on the other side of those bushes and 2 lowered transformers on the corners that will give off a little bit as you get closer up there. And keep that in mind. Normally it's along the back half if I get excited. We are here simply because, who was asking me, is that really a church? That is not a church. She made a good point because those do look like crosses on the building. Am I correct? Those are not crosses. They're earthquake bolts. That is the gunpowder magazine. It held gunpowder for 7 different wars and 1 rebellion. The crosses that you see are earthquake bolts, and basically, if you're not familiar with those because you haven't been on another tour yet here in Charleston, they're turnbuckles. So it looks just like that on the other side. If we have another earthquake, like what we did in 1886 that I mentioned earlier, you tighten them so the building gets tighter and it doesn't incur any further damage. It's a great idea.
Smartest thing ever.
But it doesn't work. It's actually pretty stupid. California choosing not to, just so you know. No, it's a good point. I normally say it doesn't work. You guys have seen them all over town already, by the way. Most of our buildings down here have them. Even the apartment building behind here has them on every single floor, just in a different format. The reason I point out the crosses, because it's part of the reason why we're here. Those are the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in. The reason why is that's the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. We're here simply because that building was being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny was coming here to start a new life. This is what I call a familiar. For those of you that watch TV shows and all the YouTubers, they use a new device called a Boo Buddy. It's basically a teddy bear with that little blinky light device that I pulled out earlier, and they do that to try to attract the child ghost to it because they would recognize it as a toy. Think of that concept with this building. So we don't have many buildings this old. Hopefully we're here at the same time that Anne is. Again, we do have some other buildings, and it's a roll of the dice if she'll be here at the same time as us. That's why we look for the bleed over from Dr. Ladd as well. So the building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government adults? 10 years, small building? You guys get the point from our government. It's kind of a joke and nobody got it. So she's looking at it.
No, I'm watching my kid who just said something.
It like spiked up to me. But I don't know if like I moved it years.
Did you like jerk it? Okay, then we have a 5.5. That'd be the only other way that it would probably go up that high. So we'll definitely be writing that one down. And you can just interrupt me when you guys get numbers like this, by the way. So again, especially at this location, because we're not going to see much. So if you get something, just interrupt me. I'm good with it. So
yeah, I totally blanked on everything you just said because I was watching her.
So the building took 10 years to build. Our history begins right in the middle of its construction. I will slow down on a twist, but I will breeze through everything because there's a lot going on here, and you guys actually want to get back to work. I can see it in everybody's eyes. So, 1708, a young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormack. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Everybody with me so far? Okay, the three of them running away from her father's angry wife. How mad was that wife that she kicked him out of the damn country? So, gents, if you brought your ladies here, be nice to her. She'll kick you all the way up to Canada. And we have planes nowadays. They didn't back then. They came here by boat. So they landed in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach. Dad bought a plantation up there. Mom died pretty quickly. That means Dad is now sending young Anne down here to sell things from the plantation to keep things afloat. Now, take a step back to Ireland just to give you this young lady's mentality. They say when Anne was back home in Ireland, they say she killed a servant when Anne was only 7, 8, or 9 years old. Remember that this is pirate lore. Nothing is ever going to be exact. Kind of keep that in mind. So when she killed a servant at that young age, keep that mentality of her as we move through the rest of her history. Fast forward, the building's done in 13. By 1715, pirates are starting to come through Charlestown. Anne is stoked. Reason why? She's going to fall in love with one of these guys so she can earn her freedom, just like a man. So the first guy she fell in love with, and I said first kind of slowly because there's a handful. We're going to cover them all. That's what makes the story so damn good. You look like you kind of already know this story. Do you know anything about it?
No. I keep getting, like, the same song is just repeating, like, 5 times. And it's Eye of the Tiger, and I keep getting I Will Survive each time.
I
heard Eye of the Tiger, too.
But you also had the word bears. What's going on with the wilderness animals? That's so weird. Oh, my.
And I have some more names.
What do you got?
Eva. And then Bring Her. That was the first time I typed 2 words together.
Yeah, okay. I don't know who Eva is, so I'll definitely dive into the cemetery records, because again, it could be a little bit of a trickle over. We've seen that, but again, I also like the last name. I don't want to say, oh, there's 3 Evas in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want something solidified. What you got?
Daughter and Brick. Those are all the things.
So you have Bring Her, and you have Daughter? Yeah, I'm going to have to wait for another clue to kind of verify. There's like 15 stories along this corner that I don't always talk about unless you guys are hearing weird shit, which it's starting to kind of stir up a little bit. And that's the story I definitely don't always tell when I have a whole group of females with me. So if I have to tell it, maybe I'll tell it as we kind of go through this. I'm not going to tell you anything about it just so you guys aren't looking for things. Back to Anne Bonny. First guy she fell in love with is James Bonny. You already know where this one's going, right? Because I already told you her pirate name. Dad didn't approve because he's a filthy pirate. So they ran away to Jamaica. They got married. Anne Cormack became Anne Bonny. That's where the pirate name came from. When she got down there, she realized her new husband was not the Captain Jack Sparrow that they were hoping for. So this guy turned out to be a privateer. That means he's a spy for the British. He's a coward. This isn't who she wants. She falls in love again. Guy number 2. This is John Rackham, but everybody calls him Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of, in case anybody was wondering. So Jack has his own crew, he has his own ship. Anne wants to be part of the crew. You can't put a female on a pirate ship. Does anybody know why?
They're bad luck.
Thank you for keeping it family friendly. Appreciate you. I get a lot of nasty answers to that one. I also throw that question out there to make sure you're all paying attention, which is good. So they are bad luck, and Jack makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and look like the crew, you can be part of the crew. She's okay with this, because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hide her from his wife. She gets it. It's a man's world. But she's on the ship, and let's put two and two together. We're pretty much mostly adults here. She's a female in Jack's quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl, and they'll get rid of Jack as captain. They'll vote him off. Before she starts to show her pregnancy, he drops her off in Cuba. Have the baby here with these friends of mine. Come back later. We'll figure it out then. She goes and has the baby, but returns without a baby. We have no idea what happened to the baby, by the way. None of my research has ever discovered
Apparently it was eaten alive.
Wow, that's pretty deep. By a bear or a tiger, I suppose. See how these all clue in together? And we can always make a story out of what's going on. That's why we always look for the validation. That's so funny. So she does come back without a baby, but she's also dressed like a female. This makes Jack pretty angry, because now he's going to know he let a girl on a ship. To make him even more mad, she's going to go flirting with the pirate crew he just captured. They're down below deck.
What?
Guy number 3, in case anybody lost track. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy, to be part of the crew that Calico Jack just captured. So now we have 2 females dressed like males on the same ship. Her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. So Mary and Anne became friends for sure, maybe lovers, we're not really sure because of the time frame. But the British find out where they are, they send a whole fleet of Navy ships to come take out one pirate ship. Rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with 1-bullet flintlocks. They don't know how to use cannons yet. Obviously, 2 ladies with 1-bullet guns cannot handle a whole fleet of Navy ships. They get arrested. As they're being arrested, Anne looks at Jack, her captain and beau, and says, "I'm sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up on your communication, not bears and lions and tigers, all the time. The judge wants to see the 2 quote-unquote men that fought back so valiantly on their own. He's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunk pirates. They're dead and gone. The 2 ladies go in front and reveal their gender, hoping to save themselves, and the judge could give a damn that they are female. They are pirates. He's going to hang them. They scream out, "We plead our bellies," which means they're claiming to be pregnant. You can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. He sends them both back to jail and delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne and brings her home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4. We're going to count Mary because we don't really know. She has 4 kids, dies at the age of 84. It's a very abrupt ending because we don't know anything about her after her pirate career that's true. So take that for what it's worth. Mary Reed died 5 months later in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination. Most books tell you it was fever. I'm going to say let's make it romantic. Call it scurvy. Why the hell not? Now, I'm not going to control this environment like what I did at the Pinky Mansion site, out of the respect of who Eliza was. I'm just going to tell you a few things that I left out. Everything else is fair game. You want to ask nasty questions and get answers? Some of it I can prove, some of it I can't. Here's what I left out. I left out the name of Anne Bonny's parents on purpose, so that way you guys had somebody to work with. I do know both of their parents' names. That's the father and the mistress. The name of Calico Jack's ship that she joined. The name of the city that Anne grew up in Ireland, and the color of her hair. Everything else is fair game. Again, we're here because of the powder magazine. That would be something she would recognize. With EMF meters, just kind of keep in mind, we have that corner up there with the transformers. You're going to see a little bit of a reading, so kind of keep that in mind. All right, guys, you all know what you're doing. Let's spread out. Let's have some fun. So, with yours, this wall is not your friend. And I'm sorry, I really haven't had a chance to really talk to you about some of the extra things on that camera. So, because everybody else has been keeping me very, very busy. Now, your camera, obviously, is not
How late is this gonna be?
Should be. It's 11. An hour and a half. So shouldn't be.
Have you had anything come up on that?
Not really. I got to 100 in the alley, which was, I just thought it was off.
And
But
that's a 10?
yeah, which it didn't feel like that, but it was.
There's a lot happening. I just can't understand.
Can't make it out. I'll record it and then can watch it back.
Do you recognize this area? Do you know this building? Do you have any questions?
Tell me who you're here with.
Did you hear something slightly?
Oh, it was like a.
Who are you here with? Who is here? What are you doing here? Are you hearing any of these words? Am I just bad at understanding the
No,
words?
it's so quick and static.
Yeah.
It's hard to. Give me a hint on tomorrow's Carolina Pick 5. Just real quick. Oh, yeah, they're spit out numbers now. Here.
Write them down.
Yeah.
Can you send me those numbers? Who is here?
So this. Good possibility. I'm not going to say for sure, but I should, but I don't. John Kirkland was on the other side of this one, seventh vice president. And then obviously, correct. He was actually over there originally because they thought he was from here. They moved him several times trying to figure it out, but it turns out he's not from here. So his sarcophagus is over here. The joke that every other ghost story will tell you is that he crossed Church Street more times dead than he did alive. So, but yeah, you can. This side is usually open to the public up until about 4 o'clock. Just because whenever you have a president being third story, it has to be open to the public. So you can walk through this cemetery. So, and you can't miss his sarcophagus. It's the biggest one. So, he's not a very well liked man here.
Yeah, what was he? So what was he just living here when he died?
So I don't think that.
History.
Was he just a one-time president?
And then there was a Noah Khan song that popped in for a second, and I don't remember what the lyric was.
Not the lyric, not the words.
Yep.
Anything weird coming out of yours?
No.
Tim, nothing.
Constant.
Tony.
I forgot the number. It said a number and I forgot the number now. It was either 8. My number. It was 83 or 38 or 83. But then 7 keeps popping in my head. Can you just repeat the number for me? Because I forgot it.
Yeah, 7 shows up here a lot, and it's usually in doubles. Tony, you didn't hear any of this?
No, I have a hard time hearing.
I
dude.
also thought I
He's the
oh,
president.
yeah, I know. He's not
Well,
very good at
they're
listening.
just so fast,
Right.
and it's so like sporadic and fast. But we heard now.
We did hear
but
now.
we heard.
She thought she heard.
I thought I
help me.
heard "help me" and breathing.
Okay.
And then I asked if you were on a ship, and it got really busy, but it was also very sad.
Okay. So not much you can make out of it.
Too sweet. I got last broke in Auburn.
Ooh.
Were you asking anything?
I asked the hair color, and it gave me rope in Auburn, but it just didn't.
Like a blondish brown. Or reddish
I
brown.
don't even know.
Any numbers I need to know about, Lilies? No? Nothing? So nothing high enough? And what do we have as far as the Ouija board?
What
Anything
did you
going on
get?
there?
You got leg and egg.
Leg and egg?
Yeah.
It was like E, maybe? Yeah, I had
Charleston.
eat somewhere.
You're listening to Charleston radio stations. Yeah. That and 843, because that's our area code. I throw that shit out. It's too easy.
That could, the 8-3, maybe it was,
Could be. We'll see
could
what goes
debunk
on.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maya, nothing else?
Just Benny and the Jets playing.
Great song.
What else you got? Anything?
Not really.
Okay. So, I think it's fair to say that we probably have a dud going on here. Is that correct? Everybody can agree to that? All right, let's head over to the wall. I'll give you the quick answers of this location, and I will explain our last location because it is not in the same fashion of what we've been doing. So cameras, I would say it's fair to say you can go ahead and hit stop if you haven't already. It's very sad for him and his wife Katie. They're mourning. Henry's not writing as much, and he has a friend that realizes he's not writing as much. He's also a writer. His name is Paul. He offers him his cottage in Colombia. He says, go out there and get back on track. He goes out there, and that's where he wrote his last words. His last words were, beholder of brief mortality, which today's translation is, dear person with a short life. And then he coughed, and it landed on the page in a blood stain. He had tuberculosis. He died right there, age 38, pen in hand. However, as sad as that may be, we're here because of that blood stain. It looks like a man writing at his desk. What the hell is going on with, oh, somebody's coming in and going home. So we call it the Blood Book. They only show it one day a year at the Charleston Library Society. You have to be a member of the society to be able to go see it. The internet's beautiful. I'm going to show you guys what this blood page looks like, and then we're going to go talk to them as if he's Henry Timrod. Something else I was going to tell you guys too. Where it was. Oh, by the way, so I'm going to need family members nearby for the people that are going to be blindfolded, because they're not going to be able to hear me. They need to know if they're talking too loud. So a volunteer from this group, the large group, can stand near Berlin because she's going to be loud. She'll have the signal. You guys already know this, right? You're already giggling about it. So they'll get a tap on the shoulder if they're too loud, and I'll explain this to them. But when we're done, you're going to tap them on the leg. Tim can hear me, so he can obviously take off his own stuff. So just kind of keep that in mind. This is your blood stain that you guys can cuddle around on this one if you guys want, so I can zoom in. That is his blood stain that he left behind. It looks like a man writing at his desk. So you guys are all kind of seeing that. And this to me just tells the whole story. Beholder of brief mortality, cough, cough, death, and there's your blood stain. And yes, they show this underneath glass once a year on Halloween only. And you have to be a member to be able to go see it. So, good creepy story for us to end with, starting off with a football player and ending on this. I figured as much. Alright, everybody knows their role, man. Let's do this. Let's go talk to a ghost. What do you have? Anything crazy?
Well, yeah, you're supposed to break it in the middle. I know you can put my ears through it, but my ears are probably too big. This works better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever makes you guys comfortable. Do you have your wrapper nearby?
I do.
Perfect. A lot of times I come here the next night and we find the wrappers on the ground. Alright, so here's what to expect out of this. Let's see if phone that's in there. Not your phone. So here's what to expect. You guys are literally going to be telling me everything that you're hearing in real time. So as you hear it, say kind of how this works. Now, a family member will be nearby. In the event that you're too loud, Berlin, which is going to be you, because I already know you're going to be too loud, you're going to get a tap on the shoulder. Quiet down. I have neighbors here. I don't want to piss them off. When we're done, we're going to tap you on the leg. That means you take off your own blindfold and your headset and don't get up. You don't need baby giraffes falling on the ground if you've been blindfolded for 10 minutes. That's how long we'll keep you under.
still hear you?
No.
No? Okay.
I want it so loud.
So,
you
like,
can't hear it.
everything.
Everything. If you hear it, say it. And it's like that. And again, the yes, no is because you don't know what I'm asking. I might ask for a ghost if I'm wearing a black vest. I'm expecting one of you to say yes. That's got the point?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's the whole point. You're going to be seeing images.
Are you going to be able to hold that?
What those images look like. They're not going to be able to hear you. So
You're like pointing down there.
people bench tree. If they're not saying much, it doesn't happen with Berlin. And they ask you probing questions. Hey, what's the time period? What are those people wearing?
I was thinking something.
That kind of thing. Have you ever done this around? Okay, so this is not like the Jurassic Park eating the face off kind of thing. So you're going to see a galaxy off in the distance, and then a picture will show up in front of it. Explaining the picture in front of the galaxy. So I put the galaxy in there just so you guys don't pull it. Yeah, we're going to need somebody nearby her as far as family member who's the volunteer. Wow, nobody's volunteering to help out Berlin. Awesome.
I got it.
So you might want to just, oh, there you go. Yeah, you could stand behind her. That would be fine. Henry Timrod.
Being there for people.
Henry Timrod, if you're here, can you give us some...
Are we supposed to be starting?
Yes, ma'am.
I can't hear.
Yes.
Winter.
Thanks. Henry, if you're here and want something
Never
about
happened.
something about your occupation, please. Can you tell us what you did for a living?
Hey, Alexa. State.
This could be either really good or really bad. Henry, this is Maya
I think you got me.
in Berlin.
Never hear from them again. If you change.
If Dr. Ladd, if you're here, you know what the code
If you're
word is.
healthy. 4.5. Only one thing I want. Something die.
She's getting a little loud. You might want to get near.
This is where he's going. My lord. Settling.
Henry, your occupation.
Get up.
Nice and simple, Henry. Tell us what you did for a living. Why don't you just show us an image? Because these girls seem to be really good at listening. EVPs. Like that's not something that shows up on the radio. Henry, use the green box. Give us some imagery. This is Tim. You can see whatever you want us to see.
No idea.
Henry.
Mr. King.
Okay. Tell Scotty to beam me up out of that galaxy and give me something. Henry.
Wanna see you whip it?
Yeah, but she did say want to see. We do want to see an image, Henry.
Ever since Doctor.
Dr. Ladd, if you're here, give us your code word, please. Dr. Ladd, if you're here, give us your code word.
Ice cream.
That's not it.
Stand by me. Crucifixion.
Repeat. What words do you have like that?
Nowhere.
I don't think you can.
Complete and
A Roman. Ketchup.
Henry Timrod, did Dr.
Learn
Ladd,
more at medical center.
did Dr. Ladd come here with you?
Rations.
She's got some deep stuff. Rations, crucifixion, EVPs. Henry, what's the sound we're
Go to
getting?
death by conscience.
What's the sound we're getting out of the church right now? Can you give us an image of what that sound is? We've had the word bells spelled out on that Ouija board and show up on your board list before.
Good point.
Henry, what sound did we just hear out of the church?
Raise our voice.
This
I
is
won't
nice.
give up.
Henry Timrod. Dr. Ladd, can
Revealed to her. It will be revealed to her.
you tell us if Dr. Ladd came here with you? I asked you a lot of questions
I'll
so far.
take that.
You got to give us some kind of specifics. I have no verification that you're actually here right now. I have two things relative to Doctor.
Take me home.
Normally his code word for us to leave is the word home.
That's that's lit.
Woodrow Wilson.
Kids
Got
from
nothing going on in there. Henry, can you tell us what? Henry, do you want us to leave?
Apply Jesus.
Henry, if you want us to leave, tell us the code word, please.
appetizing word.
In fact, let's just do the Christianity.
On my way.
Henry. We've been under for about 5 minutes. We have about 5 minutes left.
Look around.
Tony, that was a direct view. Where is he?
Attic.
I will show you what I can.
Henry,
Well done.
can you come to the green box?
In
Show
this
us your
section.
occupation.
This section.
Henry, use the green box to give us some kind of imagery. Don't let Tim fall asleep in there.
This is your local.
American Bills. Jamaican. George Washington.
You guys know where you're at? This is George Washington Park.
I saw
Miller
it
Lite
over
beer.
there.
We've had it here before.
Guns New Mod. Workout.
The manner of your dead.
Oh Jesus.
You got something?
Applause.
Saved by East Mental Center.
Henry?
Wake up in the
For
morning.
anyone he's struggling with,
What's it look like,
guys,
Henry?
someone is. What? When you get those words, we can.
Like a piece of art? Is it
Now.
a photograph?
No, I didn't say it.
It's like
Okay. Oh, by the way, it's
Why
having trouble
can't we
focusing.
do-
Right here in the center? There's a
You're the
dial.
one that needs fight
You want to
first.
reach your hand up?
I can't have
Go for a
this.
dial or turn the dial.
God.
Right where your index finger is?
You owe
Okay.
thousands of
Is there anything
patients.
specific that came out of that, Erica? It's focused. Okay.
This is what they do.
The Seven Heights.
Not a music.
She said thousands of patients.
Is she?
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Ladd, can you come forth and give us your
Statue
address?
of Brick.
Statue of Brick. What was your address, Dr. Ladd?
Mortuary school.
All the donations. Unite.
Did you bring her? Crucifixion, mortuary school.
Just dark.
I know, right? Henry, we're going to wrap this up since you're not giving us much.
You need a lovable fight. It's really important.
Henry, I'm still looking for something about your occupation to verify that you're here. Dr.
For
Ladd,
your storage, you count as ugly.
I would like to hear your address.
Market Ford. My father's name.
Health and wellness.
Go wrong.
A lot of medical terms.
Right.
Close to you.
She just said the word right. Henry?
Show your appreciation. All words you are free.
What's she just say? All words what? Show your appreciation, and then words were something. I didn't catch what it was.
Looking through.
Henry, I'm going to read a stanza from your work.
All words
Show
were
my
free.
appreciation. And then we're going to wrap
This
it up.
week.
So if you want to tell us goodnight, now is the time to do
I
so.
was like a man growling.
We know not, in the temple of the fates, God has in store
I want you
her
to
doom.
experience this.
All in trouble, in her fate,
Boldly.
she waits. Triumph.
Just a few.
Henry Timrod,
Something personal.
we're going to say goodnight. We're going to say goodnight back to us.
One application. Go up.
We're going to need you to tap her out. pat Carlin out too. Okay, feel free to take that thing off your face. Okay, and then
I think you have to tap your leg.
you okay? Alright, let's see this one crazy
Who
image.
rubbed my head?
Me. Sorry.
Alright.
Why'd you?
To
We're
tell you
done.
to stop.
Yeah.
When
Tap.
you were rubbing it.
Okay, so it just got really weird with everything that you just said. So we didn't have a whole lot going on at any time. You were giving us all this dark crucifixion. We don't know what the hell you got going on. So you gave us like mortuary job and what is happening right now. So I'm going to show you guys the one image that Tim had. Looks like he had two. Oh. The one you probably saw. Not a fourth. So everybody kind of gather because I can't make this like super huge. No, you're fine. So here's the first image that you may have seen. It may have been like generating as I was putting it inside of the device. So again, obviously looks like some kind of creepy toys in an old style bedroom. I mean, definitely some creepy stuff going on. When do you guys see this next picture, which he thought was like a forest? You guys ready? For those of you that know the story.
Wait, what he saw came to the phone? Am I like totally an idiot?
It was in here.
It was in. Oh, got it.
Here's his second image.
Ooh.
Anybody remember the name of the book that I told you guys about?
Oh, blood book.
The Blood Book.
I was gonna say it looks like blood.
It's definitely blood.
Looks like a chair.
It does. Like somebody. Oh, and there's a desk. So for those of you that know what that blood stain looks like, you guys see the desk on the left-hand side for you? There's a desk there, and that's a bloody chair. So again, I know Tim, you're probably looking at it. And then there's your desk over here off to the side. So you guys will get this image, both images, inside of your guys' report. For those of you that have cameras, just go ahead and hit stop on those if you haven't already.